retreat from Hollywood and from public life. It's a very different world from crowded, chaotic New York, where Legal Eagles, his new sophisticated comedy, is set.
Robert Redford's long, storied career spans 60 years and includes countless Hollywood classics, from outlaw westerns like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to political thrillers like All the President's Men. But he's far from just a prolific actor with rugged good looks and a winning smile. He's also an Oscar-winning director, a staunch supporter of independent films, and a devoted conservationist. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. When an 11-year-old Robert Redford was recovering from a mild case of polio in 1949, his mother took him to visit Yosemite National Park. He was immediately blown away by it and later returned to apply for a job there. For 2 summers, he worked at Camp Curry, now called Curry Village, and Yosemite Valley Lodge, and spent his free time immersing himself in the natural wonders of the park. It gave me a chance to really be there every day, to hike up to Vernal Falls or Nevada Falls, he told Smithsonian.com. In 2016, Redford got a chance to virtually return to his boyhood playground by narrating the documentary National Parks Adventure, which explores Yosemite and many other American national parks. As a boy, Redford had a natural aptitude for anything athletic, and sports were a main focus of his childhood. He grew up playing baseball, which eventually earned him a scholarship to the University of Colorado. But it didn't last very long. "I became the campus drunk and blew out before I could ever get going," Redford told People in 1998. He either dropped out or was expelled during his sophomore year, then relocated to Europe, where he spent a year and a half learning about art, culture, and politics. Upon his return to Los Angeles, Redford met 17-year-old bank teller Lola Van Wagenen. The two married in 1958, moved to New York City, and had 4 children before divorcing amicably in 1985. In the late 1990s, Redford began seeing German-born painter Sibylle Sagers, though he predicted he'd never marry again. "I have to be careful in terms of never saying never, but I don't think I would go there again," he told People in 1998. He was right to be wary of saying never. The couple tied the knot in 2009. Redford's mother, Martha Hart Redford, died suddenly from septicemia, a bacterial infection in the bloodstream, in 1955, when the future Oscar winner was 18 years old. "When I look back on it now, I realize she was the one person who believed in me throughout," Redford said in an interview. Just 4 years later, Redford and his first wife, Lola, lost their 5-month-old son, Scott, to sudden infant death syndrome. "People think it's been easy for me," Redford told People. "That's hard to live with. It's so untrue." 3 of Redford's children ended up with careers in the arts. Shauna became an artist, Jamie took up screenwriting, and Amy pursued acting. Redford considers them his ultimate success. "I've made some interesting movies, and I've been very satisfied with the work, but if someone wrapped it all up and said to me, 'What's your greatest achievement?' I'd say, 'The children. They're the best thing in my life,'" he said. After moving to New York, Redford enrolled at Brooklyn's Pratt Institute with a plan to learn how to design theater sets. But it soon became clear that he was much better suited to being on stage rather than behind the scenes. During an acting class at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, Redford impressed his teacher with a scene from Arthur Miller's All My Sons, and something clicked. "Suddenly, I had support for something that was very raw but felt good to me," Redford told the Washington Post in 2005. He abandoned his design classes to study acting at the Academy instead, and in 1959 he performed in 2 Broadway plays, Tall Story and The Highest Tree. Redford continued to perform plays in the early 1960s. Little Moon of Albin in 1960, Sunday in New York in 1961, and Barefoot in the Park in 1963. A few years after his first credited film role, 1962's War Hunt, Redford got to reprise his most recent Broadway character in the film adaptation of Barefoot in the Park, acting opposite the already well-established Jane Fonda. It premiered in 1967 to generally positive reviews, and Redford's portrayal of the well-to-do, and almost inconceivably handsome Paul Bratter catapulted him to a much higher level in the Hollywood stratosphere. If you're running late to a meeting with Robert Redford, don't panic. He's likely running even later than you are. To a person, the colleagues and friends interviewed for this article predicted that Redford would not be on time, and that the only question was by how much, and Hornaday wrote for the Washington Post in 2005. "He was late by nearly an hour. He's been late all his life," the late Sidney Pollack, who directed Redford in multiple films, told her. When asked about his own reputation for tardiness, Redford grinned and responded, "I've heard about it. It's a myth.